Something really strange is happening in marketing right now. Companies are pouring, and I mean pouring, money into AI, but most of them just aren't seeing any real results. It's this huge investment with, honestly, a pretty disappointing return. So what on earth is going wrong?
I mean, just look at the numbers. They're pretty shocking. A major study found that while something like 90% of companies have invested in AI, fewer than 40%, less than half, have seen any actual business gains from it. That is a massive disconnect between the money being spent and the impact it's having.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is the technology just not there yet? Are the data scientists not good enough? Well, it turns out the answer is a little more complicated. And, it often has less to do with the AI itself and a lot more to do with us, the people using it.
Let's just take a real-world example. There was this big telecom company, and they wanted to stop customers from leaving, reduce churn. So they got a fancy AI to predict who is most likely to cancel their service. Then they just bombarded those people with special offers. The result? A whole lot of them still left. They made a really fundamental mistake right from the very beginning.
As it turns out, this kind of failure isn't just bad luck. You can almost always trace it back to one of three very common pitfalls. Think of these as the hidden culprits, the traps that turn these promising AI projects into really expensive disappointments. So let's break them down one by one.
Okay, first up is what we call alignment. And honestly, this is probably the biggest one. This is when the question you ask your AI is technically correct, but it's strategically completely wrong. So the AI can be 100% accurate, but if it's solving the wrong problem, who cares? It's totally useless. And this gets us right back to that telecom company's mistake. See, they asked, who is most likely to leave? But the real business question, the one that actually makes you money, is who can we persuade to stay? You got to think of it like politics, right? You don't waste your campaign budget on voters who are never, ever going to support you. You focus on the swing voters. They should have been targeting their swing customers. Here's another quick one for you. A gaming company wanted to make more money. So they told their AI, hey, figure out what features will boost user engagement. And the AI did its job. Engagement went way up, but revenue? Totally flat. Why? Because they asked the wrong question. Their actual goal wasn't just engagement, it was revenue. They should have asked what would increase in-game spending. All right, our second pitfall is asymmetry. And this is all about understanding a really simple concept. Not all mistakes are created equal. I mean, a prediction being wrong in one direction might just be a small headache, but being wrong in the other direction, that could be a complete financial disaster. And this is where things get really wild. A data science team at a company proudly announced they'd created a sales forecast that was more accurate overall. Sounds great, right? Well, wrong. The new model was better at predicting sales for their cheap, low-profit items, but it was much worse for their high-profit, big-ticket stuff. So the cost of underestimating demand for their most valuable products was huge, and their overall profits actually went down. See? Accuracy isn't everything. The cost of being wrong can matter a whole lot more. And that brings us to our third pitfall, aggregation. This is what happens when you have this super-powered AI that can make incredibly detailed, high-speed predictions, but your business is still kind of stuck in the slow lane, making big, broad decisions the old-fashioned way. I mean, check this out. A hotel chain had an AI that could optimize prices for every single room type every single hour of the day. What a powerful tool. But what did they do with it? The managers still just met once a week to set these general location-wide prices. They were just leaving a massive amount of money on the table because they failed to match their decision-making speed to what their technology could actually do.
So, okay, we've got these three big pitfalls: alignment, asymmetry, and aggregation. But when you dig a little deeper, you find that underneath all of them is a very, very human problem. It's a fundamental communication breakdown, usually between the marketing teams and the data science teams.
And this breakdown really comes from both sides. On one side, you have marketing managers who maybe don't fully get AI's limits, so they ask for the impossible. Then, on the other side, you've got data scientists who, without clear business goals, just kind of fall back on building familiar models that aren't actually that valuable. So you end up with data scientists who can't really explain complex ideas in simple terms, and managers who are frankly a little too afraid to admit they don't understand. It's a perfect storm of misunderstanding.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time diagnosing the problem. What about the solution? Well, there's a simple but really powerful three-question framework that can get marketing and data science talking the same language and finally turn those AI investments into real wins.
This whole framework is built on just three questions. First, what is the marketing problem we are really trying to solve? And you have to be super precise. Get down to what they call the atomic level of a single decision. Second, where is the waste or missed opportunity in what we're doing right now? Think of it like spill and spoil, like a hotel tracking empty rooms. And finally, and this is the absolute key, dig into why that waste is happening. This forces everyone to re-examine all their old baked-in assumptions.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Getting real value from AI, it's not just about hiring smarter data scientists or buying fancier software. It's about applying sharp, strategic marketing and business thinking before you even think about building a model.
And just look at how beautifully this framework maps right back to those 3 pitfalls we talked about. That third question, what is causing the waste? That's the magic key. It forces you to fix alignment by asking if your prediction is really what you need to know. It tackles asymmetry by making you actually calculate the costs of being wrong, and it solves aggregation by pushing you to ask, hey, could we be making these decisions faster or with more detail?
Ultimately, it just comes down to this simple idea. Marketing absolutely needs AI, but AI desperately needs marketing thinking to ever realize its full potential. The technology is just a tool, right? It needs clear, strategic, business-focused direction to actually create value.
And remember, the goal here isn't to build one single perfect AI model that never makes a mistake. That's impossible. The real goal is to create a culture of constant communication and improvement, where marketing and data science are actually working together, learning from what goes wrong, and just getting a little bit smarter with every single project.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on for your own work. When you use AI and data, are you really truly tackling the most valuable business problem you have? Or are you just defaulting to the question that's easiest for the algorithm to answer? The difference between those two, well, that's where success is really hiding. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.